This is a virtual special meeting of the Rules Committee of the RTM of the town of Darien. And I'll call the meeting to order. First is approving the minutes of October 3rd regular meeting. Can I have a motion, please? Ann, moved. Second? Patty, second. I can see you, Patty. Oh, that's nice. Any corrections, additions, changes? All right, so all those no votes, no votes, please. And I'll ask the ones I can't see. Peter, any no?
I'm a yes vote. I'm a yes
You're
vote.
a yes, okay.
I'm a yes also. It's Teresa. I'm a yes also.
Great. Frank?
Frank, yes.
Joe? Michelli? Joe, you got to press your mic.
Yes.
Josie, yes. Nice going. Jack? I can see you. Yep. That's good. So it's unanimous.
Thank you.
Next is just a discussion on RTM items and assigned committees. I sent out a draft warning which has a breakout of the three amendments. The amendments have to be separate for the bond resolution. So, but I think we could assign all three amendments at once if you want. It looks like F and B. Now, I don't, since it's just amendments, it's all finance. I don't see any need for any other committees. Has anybody got any other thoughts on it?
Seth, it's Teresa. Here, I'll put my camera on real quick. I know education is meeting with F&B tomorrow night to talk about this. So I don't know if that means we've been assigned, we should be assigned, or if we're just tagging along just to be aware of it.
Well,
it should be secondary.
Teresa, I fully agree with you. I think that education should also be reporting on this because it's not just the finances of the bond and those numbers. It's also what they're doing and reporting on the roofs and this, that, and the other. That's all intertwined with that. And we're going to stay on the finance. They can talk about what the roof is, and there's also a part of the homes also includes 32 Curtis, aka the Curtis property, or the former Curtis property, which is what most of us know it as. But even before that, I personally believe that the RTM needs to accept the but the transfer of the care, maintenance, and control, if those are the three words.
Frank, I muted you.
To the from the Board of Selectmen to the Board of Ed, so that there's no question that nobody's questioning how we're providing a building on property not yet under their control when it goes to the state. That's a loose end that I don't want them to have to deal with. So the first thing on the agenda should be that transfer. That's a RTM education only report.
All right.
That should go first.
Before the amendment, we'd put the transfer, right?
Yeah. And that's education. And then F&B first on the other three, and, F&B first, rather, and
Primary.
education secondary on all three of those.
Jack, can I get you to repeat that?
Okay.
What goes first?
The transfer of 32 Hoyt Street, care, maintenance, and control, from the Board of Selectmen to the Board of Education. Kate had an executive summary on that, I believe.
And Mark, I think, to Jack's
Yeah.
point, I think they call it care, custody, and control.
Thank you. I never remember what they are. It's something. You guys are now responsible for it. Who cares? Same things. But yes, you're right. Thank you, Penny. And then the three amendments to the prior resolutions.
Right. Okay, so I'll take a motion to add the transfer to the agenda of the RTM and to assign education committee to that. Can I have a motion to do that? Thank you, Ann. Have a motion, a second, please? Okay,
Yeah.
Jack, we'll get you
Yeah.
for the second. I'll get you on one, Frank. Great. Can I have no votes, please? For those who I can see, I don't see any. Teresa, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, and
This is
Peter?
Peter, yes. Yes.
Peter's a yes. I can see everybody else. I'm assuming all the rest are yes. I see no votes, hear no votes. Passes unanimously. Okay, now I'll take a motion for the three amendments to be put on the agenda with F&B primary and education secondary. Can I have a motion? Ann, thank you. Frank, second. Okay. All those in favor, please. Can I have a noes? I think noes is the best way to go on this. No votes. The only people I don't see again is Teresa and Peter. Teresa,
Yeah.
you
I'm a
say
yes.
yes, Peter? Peter's a yes.
Yes, correct.
That's unanimous.
Can I ask a question on the HHR material? Do we have all the material that we need? Is there anything else that the committee is going to be providing us with?
Jokingly, Lois, you can't
No.
ask the question.
Then you ask the question, Jack.
We have
yeah,
everything. We have everything that we need.
yeah.
Thank you.
We have Jennifer's memo on the breakdown of the amendments and the HHR nice memo from Jill. So it's great.
In total, there's someplace in the neighborhood of about 8 or 9 documents that have been transmitted to Ed and myself, and I'm assuming the Board of Finance have some of the same documents.
And for in the meeting, I don't think we're expecting the HHR committee to do a presentation, correct? That Jack and the Finance and Budget Committee and the Education Committee will do the presentations? Is that an accurate statement?
That is an accurate statement, but I'm not relieving them of not showing up.
They have, that was the next part of the thing.
All right.
So the audience, the members of the RTM or the public have questions that we need them there. So.
Oh, okay. So we've put the amendments on and assigned the committees. Now we'll just a brief discussion on Tom Hennick and his presentation. Um, this won't work out. Tom's presentation is an hour, and that's just too long for this meeting. So I talked to him, and we'll work together to try and figure out how to do this. His presentation is very good. I've heard from a number of people. He gave one up in New Canaan, and he travels around the state giving a presentation on FOI. But it is an hour, and so I don't know. Maybe we can try and put it in January if it's a quiet moment there. Does that sound doable to the Rules Committee as far as his presentation? If it is an hour, is that too much, or do you think we can do it?
Hey, Seth, it's Teresa. Um, I don't think people are going to be able to keep I mean, it sounds terrible. People aren't going to be able to keep their attention for an hour. I mean, he really needs to, if it's possible, if he can make that shorter, sweeter, more succinct so that people, listen, pay attention, absorb it. An hour is too long.
Okay.
I
Now,
100% agree.
how what length do you think? A half an hour?
20 minutes tops.
Yeah.
Well, I can't get him down from Connecticut. He'd have to be virtual for that, I think, to get him to drive down here to do 20 minutes. Okay.
Seth, I have another suggestion, if we might.
Yeah.
First of all, we're going to have new members there. And so to have a full conversation on FOIA for an hour, I don't think is reasonable, especially since I honestly believe that there will be questions and comments on these reports. So that's not going to go like 2 minutes down. I believe it'll pass, but it's not purely puppies and kittens because
Right.
there's large numbers here. But potentially, if we can figure out how to have his presentation virtual to the audience, on the overall board, maybe we do like 3 sessions. He breaks it up into 3, and we do it over 3 RTM meetings on various parts of FOIA.
All right. Let me give that a run with him. See what. Okay.
I'm trying to compromise, Patty.
Just being realistic
Was
that
that Jack?
might be
Yeah.
not to come, if there's going to be another session. I believe we need to do it. I just think that's why I said like a 20-minute thing would be great. And can we, didn't you talk about having everything online first? People could read the information. Maybe he could do top line data, and then we could submit our top 10 questions that are most confusing about FOIA, or that we should be most concerned about. Something like that.
All right. I will talk to him and see what we can work out. I got the picture, which is great. And let me just see what we can do. But for this meeting, we won't. We'll take that piece out. So, just talking about the warning to the RTM, I sent out a draft to you as soon as I had the pieces for the amendments. I could give more detail to you on that, but we'll do a call to order and the swearing in, the election of a moderator, then acceptance of the agenda, announcement. We'll have the moderator note that the reports will be from the committees elected in 2021. Approval of the minutes of October 17. Orientation. I would think that just there isn't a lot of room to be able to do Robert's rules, other than there is a memo that's out that talks about responsibilities of RTM members. It's mailed out. I'm wondering if just an announcement that the responsibilities of RTM membership will be emailed out the following day is enough. I'm just wondering how much we really have to do to stand, before the body and talk about the rules of RTM members. The standing committees, we're still working on that, but we could mail out Appendix B to do that. And there is something also available that's briefly on giving warning on, as far as FOI is concerned. So it seems to me we could get information mostly out by email, and that would provide the new members with something in writing that they can refer to. How does that sound, everybody?
I have some comments on that, and Lois, go first.
Well, I just wanted to add something of the piece. I have some comments also, but I'll wait for this after I hear what Jack says. But I do want to add to that piece a statement of how we're using technology, and the tech committee will have something in Chris's hands by next week. And basically, I would like, any objections, to find out if there are any objections, but basic ground rules that I think we're talking about is that RTM meetings will either be in person or virtual if they need to be, if they can't be in person. That we're not talking about running hybrid for RTM meetings as the way things are right now. And for committees, that the committees can do it either in person, virtual, or hybrid, that there will be instructions on how they do hybrid coming out. And also it would be up to the committee or the committee chairperson to decide how each committee's meeting should run. Is there any objections to that as a working position for the next session of the RTM?
I think that that's better said when we're doing the committees after rules meets and everybody's going to their committee. Before they go to committees, I think that that's a better time to mention how they can run. You can mention, no question about the RTM is either going to be in person or virtual, and leave it there. But and then as for the committees, deal with that when we're with the committees, because people will be more focused on that at that time. I also want to add that there's a couple of things on the orientation. First of all, I think either you or Lois should be giving the orientation. No disrespect to Krista, who gave it last year, but that's our job to be doing that. And she did a nice job, but it's still our job to do that. I think that we want to mention that the whatever you want to call it, Frank, the matrix or whatever, will be sent out to everyone so that they have an understanding of what's going on in the committees. That's an important thing for them to do. We don't need to really get into that we're revising the committees. We can mention what each of the committees are doing high level with the concept that the matrix is coming. But,
right.
But equal importance, I thought, was that we're continuing to use the technology that we used last year for committee assignments, if I'm not mistaken.
The board?
What?
The board? Oh, we're going to do the spreadsheet thing?
Yeah,
well,
like
we can do it either. We're going to be in person this year. Last year we did it remote.
Right.
Well, all right. So at some time, somebody has to hand in all those sheets. They have to be collected and given to whoever the rules people are. So.
Oh, you mean people's choice? Yeah, I assume Chris is going to do the survey.
No, we are going to use the monkey.
Right, but we should be explaining that, not Krista. It is
okay. All right.
It's an RTM initiative. Krista is the keeper of it, but in that particular case, the town clerk is supporting the RTM. It's not that the town clerk is running.
Can we- Sorry, Jack, but a question on timing. We talk about it, so we're gonna have, I thought we do it by people send in their stuff by the 14th. Are we gonna just on the 14th say, hey, get it in this week?
No, we're gonna be doing it. Oh, yeah, I guess on the
Right.
14th, you have to have it in by the 14th.
So this stuff has to go out in a document, and Seth's just confirming that people understand.
Right. But we should
Right.
remind people who haven't sent it in so people aren't going. The other thing is, Seth, at the beginning, when we're going through the 4 resolutions, since we
Yeah.
do not have an organization in the districts, can you ask the prior year's district chairs to collect the votes for each one of those?
Right,
Because there are no district chairs right now either.
right, yeah.
So that's something just to remind people. And then we have the election. So those were my comments.
Seth,
Okay,
can I ask a question real quick? Thank you, Jack.
yeah,
Can Jill and Chris get off the call now? They don't need to be on for the rest of this call, I don't think. We just set the agenda when we're all done, like the number 4. They don't have to still hang out, do they?
no,
Yes,
and
of
unless they
course.
want to.
Okay. So just
Not
telling you
unless
that.
they're
I know-
dying to listen to the
I know
rest.
you're both busy with work and et cetera. So if you wanna scoodle doodle.
So does that mean David Martin has to stay because you didn't mention him? He already left.
He's already out. Good for
I
him.
just saw him click, yes.
Knows the
Yeah, is
drill.
there anything you have in terms of questions or any other information you need from us? Otherwise, appreciate that, Patty. Otherwise,
I
I guess
think
we'll see some of you all tomorrow night.
Yeah, I think we're loaded, Chris.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
See you
Thank you.
tomorrow.
Okay, so we've got the orientation up.
Frank, I'm muting you again.
Frank, yeah. There's something,
It's okay now.
go, Frank. I can't, we're not getting him at all.
I was because he was causing the background noise.
Oh, okay. But he's asked to be recognized.
Send an
Frank?
unmute request.
Frank, you got to hit your mic. There you go.
Okay. I just wanted to get clarification on the distribution of the matrix and when, Jack, you'll have a chance to make some remarks on it.
If you want me to make a brief comment on the 14th, I can, but I would imagine the distribution goes out with the
Yeah, I just was not clear about when that would be done, whether this meeting on the 14th or the next meeting. You just need to clarify that.
I think it's best on the 14th.
Fine. And so that will be something distributed by Seth and Krista as a exhibit to the meeting.
Typically, I would imagine that might be. I'm in the Alps. I imagine that.
Frank, if you could just mute when someone else is talking.
Yeah. I would be in favor of getting it out there as early. And if you said it's going to go out on the 14th, that's great.
No, it's going out before that.
Frank, mute yourself and then I'll tell you what my concept is. Thank you. My concept is that when we're sending out the electronic committee assignments, it's sent out at the same time with them.
Yes.
Okay.
So if we know who won on the 9th, and that's when it's being sent out, so be it.
Got it. Okay,
Fine, thanks for the clar.
okay, so we've got the orientation figured out. That would be 6. Then the 3 amendments, appropriation and bond authorizations. We have 2 members of the Board of Ethics, David Bain and Mr. Handler. Those 2 are up. And then we'll move everybody to district breakouts to elect their chair and vice chair and 2 rules committee members.
Seth,
Does that capture it?
Hey, Seth, I
Yes,
think I heard
Lois.
you. Did you switch the sequence? I heard you say orientation, then amendments to the appropriation and bond authorization. Did you?
Yes, I did. I moved the orientation
Up one.
more to the top.
Yep, up 1. Got it. The rest of it stays as is. Got it. Thank you.
do you want to add an orientation about that the meetings, the RTM meetings are going to be in person or virtual? You can put
Yes,
that in that
ma'am.
orient.
Yeah,
Where's that?
That in that orientation list, it has review of roles of
Oh, okay,
RTM
just add
members.
it to the end.
I'll sort of break out pieces and I'll get it out before I send it so that people can see it.
Technology
And just-
recap, I'll call it, Lois.
Okay. For point of information on the Board of Ethics, do we have an issue of party membership?
No, because Jim Cameron is an independent, so you can have up to 4 on from the same party.
He's actually,
Who's up?
I think he's actually unaffiliated.
Who's up for reelection? Just out of curiosity.
David Bain and Handler.
Me
Right.
and-
Thank you.
I don't think Mia is coming. Recall that she was going to stay on for the remainder of her term. And so we can check. Remember, I checked with her on this last year or halfway through, but I can check again. If she's finishing her term, she's no longer on the RTM. So I don't know if she would then be allowed to stay on that. She was finishing out her term when she came off the RTM, I think halfway through last year, and we allowed her to stay on. So
Yeah, no, she's permitted under the rules to do that. Yeah. So we're thinking we may have an additional player, huh? To
I would
replace.
think so. Patty, I think you're absolutely correct and spot on in what you just said.
Right. Okay. So we may have 3. Good. Anything else? Okay. Then I'll take a motion to approve the agenda as read and as reviewed.
I'll make that motion.
Frank, yes. Second,
I'll make it.
I see Ann.
We had Mark there, Seth. In one of
Minutes are going to
those two.
reflect it.
Mark, put yourself down for moving it.
There we
Who
go.
else are you?
That's okay. Seth's
All
not
right.
showing me any love today. That's fine.
I'll do no votes. Ann put her hand down quickly. Thank you, Ann. I think I can see everybody. Let me just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I
This
can't
is
see
Peter. I'm a yes.
Yeah, Peter's a yes.
I'm a
Okay.
yes too. I put my camera on though. So you
My
can see.
camera
I
died.
see.
Yes.
I see it, Teresa. All right. So it's unanimous. I see no votes. The agenda is adopted.
Hey,
Thank
Seth,
you
I
all.
apologize. Hang on one second. I talked over who motioned that in my zeal to get recognized.
You did, didn't you, Mark?
Well, I
We
did, but
thought
I
you.
didn't hear myself recognized. Who did get recognized?
We got everybody because Peter Alfanos.
Ann, I think.
And
Frank
got
was
it, thank you.
recognized for moving it, and Ann was recognized for seconding.
Thank
There you
Right.
go.
We'll go with that. I heard it that time.
Okay.
And you're on every motion.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you all. I'll take a motion to adjourn
I'll make that motion,
unless
Patty.
there's any new business.
Oh,
Well, I think you just wanted to mention that there'll be voting at the state of the town meeting on the SSO and capital requests.
Oh,
That's
yeah. I'll mention that in the announcements. Yep.
Do we need to? Do we need to mention it there, or should we be mentioning it at the committees? Because we will have a special meeting with the Board of Ed on Wednesday, I believe it's the 30th, at 35 Leroy with Education F&B and Public Health and Safety. And it's an information-only session, but it might be worthwhile to mention it on the 28th as opposed to the 14th, because some people might not even know what we're talking about. With votes
Okay.
going on subsequent to the information meeting on their own meetings. So none of the committees will vote that night on the 30th. It's just information only. And I
Okay.
believe I'm going to try, because we're at the Board of Ed, to be able to do both virtual and in person.
Okay.
But we can announce that at the meeting on the 14th so that, and if anyone
Right.
is, it isn't hard to do it both. Let's put it that way.
And it's been in the papers.
Okay, I just
And
find
we've
that to be
already got the
confusing.
committees working on it, so. Okay, good. Without we can't add new business, so I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Patty?
Great.
Thank you, Seth. Good evening.
Okay. All in favor can hang up. Or,
Nice meeting,
job.
Seth. Thanks all.
great. Thank you.